Since 1993, there have been 6 dramatizations of the life and fatal crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer. His unabated spree spanned 13 years. The Secret Life, Jeffrey Dahmer, 1993. Dahmer, 2002. Raising Jeffrey Dahmer, 2006, although only released to the mainstream in 2008. The Jeffrey Dahmer Files, 2012. My Friend Dahmer, 2017. Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story, 2022. And these are only the films and limited series, not including the plethora of documentaries dedicated to unearthing who this man was. And this got me and numerous other people on the internet thinking, has this gone too far? And especially, has it gone too far too soon? There is a clear cost benefit. Streaming services such as Netflix are in a sort of arms race with cable and other streaming services. The objective is to make as much television as possible at as low a cost as possible. And with this in mind, watching the latest installment of the Jeffrey Dahmer industrial complex is a conflicting experience. The show, especially relative to its 7 predecessors, seems incredibly self-aware, but it ultimately doesn't let this self-awareness get in the way of perpetrating the same moral ambiguities it is calling out. What happens when more films and series about Jeffrey Dahmer are made, like with the booming true crime genre in general, is that the goal of entertaining precedes that of informing, and especially that of informing about reality. With Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, which is blowing up in the US and the UK, Evan Peters' performance is admittedly so riveting that even if the show was about Jeffrey Dahmer's nameless victims, which at least in episode 6 it seemingly is, his overall performance overshadows anything else. Peters overshadows every performance, which I think is where a lot of the conflicting feelings about watching it and engaging with it comes from. As I said, episode 6 is an exception, focusing on the life and childhood and tragic end of the life of Tony Hughes, a 31-year-old college student and model. That is, however, 1 episode out of 10. Now, after seeing this limited series pop up on Netflix, I decided to watch it, and afterwards I decided to look at what else there was out there about Jeffrey Dahmer. And that was when I discovered this entire industrial complex around him. And contrary to what my psyche and my well-being may have told me, I decided to watch all 6 attempts at trying to, in a weird sort of way, immortalize Jeffrey Dahmer in the public imagination. And it wasn't lost on me that the actors chosen to portray Dahmer from 1993 onwards have gotten conventionally more attractive. Carl Crew in 1993, Jeremy Renner in 2002, Rusty Sneary in 2006, Disney heartthrob Ross Lynch in 2017, and now horror series equivalent of Tumblr, Evan Peters. Most of these actors have been some sort of symbol of their era when it comes to their looks and public image. The high Bristophilia surrounding Evan Peters' recent portrayal of Dahmer is already apparent on the internet, stemming of course from the lore surrounding Ryan Murphy and his longtime muse. If you don't know, Ryan Murphy is the horror genre's answer to Steven Spielberg. If you go through Ryan Murphy's oeuvre, his productivity levels are unmatched. American Horror Story Season 2 is being streamed weekly on Disney+. Mind you, that is different from American Horror Story, but at the same time not. American Horror Story Seasons 11, 12, and 13 have already been announced, and an already loyal internet fan base will undoubtedly follow this latest saga. Do I include myself in this? 1000%. And Ryan Murphy's productivity is intimately married to Netflix commercial interests and its emphasis on quantity over quality. What you can see with Murphy and Netflix in relation to their seeming obsession with non-fiction stories and true crime is that much of the characters, their lives, their arcs, and their socio-psychology is already established and known and need only be dramatized. For instance, Ryan Murphy's Ratched is about Mildred Ratched, Ratchet, the fictitious nurse and tyrant from Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Cinema and television's obsession with Jeffrey Dahmer is no different. This blurs the line between, on the one hand, learning from the institutional and societal shortcomings which collided in making Jeffrey Dahmer, and on the other hand, adulating him. Profitable analysis sells better than responsible or ethical analysis when it clearly comes to Jeffrey Dahmer.
I now present to you Jeffrey Dahmer in his command performance.
Having watched each production in order of release, I can say that each one becomes noticeably creepier than the next. And this was because each one became more intent on exploring Dahmer's childhood and personality. It became more psychologically intense and had the music and soundtrack to match. And this involves production companies stepping up on the aura, the disturbing aura of him and his surroundings, capitalizing on a sort of overstimulation of our emotional faculties to keep us hooked. Non-fiction crime always has an audience, and if you make enough of it, you're going to have a hit every once in a while. There is nothing wrong in our interest with the true crime genre, contrary to the beliefs of many Puritans online. It really is nothing new in the history of humanity or within our psychology. Shakespeare has been dubbed to be the founding father of the genre by some. It makes sense given the speed of globalization and internet access, both of which has opened up a whole new world to us that is pretty perplexing and also morally ambiguous. It is like anarchy, as we can see from the proliferation of true crime YouTubers. What is worrying, however, is that streaming services are acting as ambient television. They are designed to keep us watching from episode to episode automatically without even realizing it. At worst, having it as background noise while we fall asleep. Because, irrespective, money is being made, either through the production itself or subscriptions. Real-life events are dramatized, scripted, and put into a simple chronological order. They keep us hooked through sensationalized dramatic effects, and intentionally or not, a kind of manufactured or phony mystique. In my opinion, dramatic effect trumps human or humane respect. And I realize that this is a conversation that everybody seems to be having, at least insofar as commentary and critical commentary is concerned. At this point in time, I don't think it's going to make much difference because of the numerous untapped avenues of profit involved in true crime, especially in commercialized true crime. Do you think that there should be stricter laws and codes of ethics when it comes to dramatizing true crime? Should such content be outright demonetized on YouTube? I'd be intrigued to hear what you think. But anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching this short and more so reflective to the point video, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.